This video is going to make some of you really excited and want to share this, and some of you really mad because some of you are a bunch of cowards. I'm Zach. This is The Average Christian, the project simply about what it means to have a relationship with God, how to live that out in practical terms, and also about some Christian accountability. One more about accountability. It's how you and I respond to people on social media through typing, not in phone conversations where you can hear tone, not in face-to-face conversation where you got to look at somebody's eyes. When all of us become keyboard warriors and get that keyboard courage, and we're going to put somebody in their place and we speak to them in a way we would never speak to them face-to-face. It's starting negative, but I actually want to start with some positives here on what the Lord reminds us of, and then I'm going to come back to some of the opening comments at the very beginning or at the very end of the video. In Proverbs chapter 12, I'm going to give you 4 scriptures here. Proverbs chapter 12, there is one in verse 18, there is one whose rash words are like sword thrusts, but the tongue of the wise brings healing. Now, that's usually what it is. Somebody says something or puts something online and we make a quick comment. One of the things about being able to comment, being able to write something down, I remember when I was trying to just talk to my girlfriend, who is now my wife, I was so much better at writing it down in a letter because I could actually rethink my thoughts, put it down on paper, have time to just go through it and mull over it. One of the things about being able to respond to people on social media is you should take the time to look and see what you're saying, instead of just rashly writing something down and then hitting the arrow or send or whatever it is, and then that comment being out there for everybody else to read, because they can be like sword thrusts and they cut people. I see this a lot, brethren. We need to call each other on this. We need to keep each other accountable in this regard. In Proverbs 15, he says in verse 4, a gentle tongue is a tree of life. Now, you have the opportunity on social media to use this as a tool to teach other people, to help them, some people who don't understand, some people who are thinking incorrectly, and to be able to try to have a dialogue in some way, shape, or form with them to bring them life, literally, eternal life. And you're destroying those opportunities with your attitude. And I know tone, literal tone is lost, but these responses and replies, the ways in which some of you try to correct people, they still have a tone to them. And I've seen so much disrespect that I decided I'm not going to hold back anymore. I'm going to make a video about this and address this, and maybe you'll want to comment on it. He says, a gentle tongue is a tree of life, but perverseness in it breaks the spirit. How about Titus chapter 3? Let's go New Testament for these last two. Titus chapter 3 and verse 1. Remind them to be submissive to rulers and authorities, to be obedient, to be ready for every good work, to speak evil of no one, to avoid quarreling. Now, I'm convinced some of you just like arguing. I see you. I know you. You start and you put up things that will start an argument. It's not that you're standing for the truth so much as you're trying to stir the pot. You say, well, you're judging me. Not when you see it over and over. Like Marshall Keeble used to say, I'm not a judge, I'm a fruit inspector. When you see this over and over, what you're producing, some of you are just blatant with your wanting to start something up, and then your comments and getting involved with it and making sure that you're telling everybody else how right you are, how wrong they are, how ignorant they are sometimes, and how could they be that stupid? And if you don't say that, that's the tone that comes across. So to avoid quarreling, the point is not to win an argument. It's not to correct somebody so that makes them feel stupid, because I have never had somebody try to make me feel stupid. I thought, I really need to listen to this person. To avoid quarreling, to be gentle, to show perfect courtesy toward all people. I'll give you an idea. When you see some of these online arguments starting up, especially as it relates to Bible and spirituality, you have the ability to, if you're not going to call them, if you're not going to have a conversation, you do have the ability to direct message, to PM these people behind the scenes where it's not out in public and say, let's talk this over. I disagree with you, or I don't think this is what the Bible's teaching, or this is what the truth is. And then have a cordial conversation in gentleness where you're trying to come to the truth, because that's the point. Trying to arrive at the truth, trying to help other people arrive at it as well. Finally, James chapter 3 and verse 13. I want you to listen well here. Who is wise and understanding among you? Some of you want to be wise. Some of you want to show your understanding and make sure everybody else knows how much you understand and how much you've got it right. By his good conduct, let him show his works in meekness of wisdom. But if you have bitter jealousy and selfish ambition, some of you have that. Some of you just want other people to see you, and they say, well, he's making a video. He just wants people to see him. Well, check the rest of them and see if that's what we're about here. Some of you just want to be seen. Some of you want the attention. Bitter jealousy and selfish ambition in your hearts. Do not boast and be false to the truth. This is not the wisdom that comes down from above, but is earthly, unspiritual, demonic. For where jealousy and selfish ambition exist, there will be disorder in every vile practice. But the wisdom from above is first pure, listen, then peaceable, gentle, open to reason. It amazes me how close-minded some of you are, how close-minded some of us are. To act like you've got it all figured out, there's no way you could possibly be wrong, instead of bantering back and forth, being open-minded to think, maybe I missed something here. Maybe they have something to offer, or at least a different take, or maybe they understand better than I do. Peaceable, gentle, open to reason, full of mercy and good fruits, impartial and sincere, and a harvest of righteousness is sown in peace by those who make peace. Frankly, I wish some of you would stop misrepresenting the rest of us. More importantly, I wish some of you would stop misrepresenting Jesus with your posts that are trying to induce some sort of argument, with your responses that seek to belittle. And if you don't know this, then certainly that's ignorance. I don't mean that as a slam or an insult. I mean ignorance as in not knowing better. And if that's the case, then hopefully this will help you to think about it. I want you and me to think about how we respond to people, the tone with which that we take. I want us to think about whether or not this is going to help build up another person, whether or not it's going to help build intrigue, or am I just trying to shoot them down, win an argument, make myself look better, and promote me instead of God? I know the ones that Jesus spoke harshly toward. They were the people who thought they knew everything. They were the people who thought they had all the answers. And some of Jesus' harshest words were for those. So please pay attention, be peaceable. Think about what you put out there for everybody else to read. Instead of being argumentative, try to help other people see. Make sure it comes from the spirit of peacefulness, being peaceable, and meekness, like we learned in James chapter 3. I want to thank you for being with us today. If you're watching on YouTube, please hit this button below to subscribe to the channel. That helps us out. If you want to see what we released last week, it's over here in this corner. If you want to see what YouTube recommends, it's over here. For our podcast listeners, we thank you for being with us. We thank you for your support. Please subscribe, rate, and review this so that other people can be made aware about it. And for all people, if you would, share this content with somebody else so it will help them. Please consider supporting our work here by going to theaveragechristian.net/Patreon and become a partner with us.